I don't really remember what exactly happened, but it happened a lot of times. Like these little moments of pure perfection, time wise, that something happened and it just all clicked together perfectly. And it was really enjoyable, at least for me, because it was just I was saying the whole time, the only time that exists is the perfect one. So there are a lot of possibilities happening the whole time, but it's always the best ones that is gonna occur to us. I don't know. That's something that I took home with me after the trip, that I learned. Like, you need to calm down and like believe in the good timing.
That's a beautiful insight. So, I guess I have to make an introduction now.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the podcast that doesn't have a name yet. Maybe it's going to be called Andy's Son Podcast. Maybe it's going to be called Story Times. I don't know yet, but I'm Andy, your host for today's show. This is Leo, my guest for the first podcast ever.
Hello.
Introduce yourself, Leo, please.
I'm Leo. I'm 22 years old. I'm a musician, or at least I consider myself to be a musician as well. I play over 10 instruments already. I'm studying composition and I'm happy to be here.
Well,
Thanks. I mean, the whole idea started as a joke. It's like, as I told you before as well, like the best ideas always start as a joke.
We'll find out if it is actually true today.
I think it's gonna be okay.
Cool. So we have one main topic for today's podcast, and that is Leo's first LSD trip.
Yeah.
And he was actually hiding the story from me a little bit until this day. And now we're going to discover the details together.
Well,
so
I'm not exactly sure if I should call it my first LSD trip, because I had like a little bit of experience with LSD before, but it wasn't nothing compared to what I just had. The first time was most of a microdosing. It was also with Francisco. Maybe you know Pascal. If you don't, it's okay. But
Yeah.
it was,
I actually
same
did a workout with him last Friday and with the
Francis-
other Leo, and
yeah.
we're planning on going workout together more
Okay,
often.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have never been the kind of workout guy. I don't know. I just
If you ever want to join us, just let me know. We go together.
okay.
Get fit.
Yeah, no. I'm happy being skinny as I am. No, coming back to the topic. I already had like a little bit of experience with LSD. It was a really interesting, but it was a really chill trip, I would call it. I felt high, but I was still functional, and I was still like in this reality.
Do you maybe want to start like with the story, because it was not just like another evening where it's like, hey, what we gonna do? Okay, let's pop some LSD, because it was actually a planned trip.
Actually, no, I had no idea that we were popping LSD until I met with other guys.
Until you met with the other
The
guys.
first time I'm talking about.
The first time. Okay,
the
sorry, yeah.
macros, and that one was just like, no, we have some LSD to take, and I was like, okay, let's take some. Yeah, it was completely crazy. I thought that we were gonna smoke weed and get high and have a nice little walk in the mountain. And then they just told me about the papers they had with them, and okay, well, I mean, it was microdosing. Each one of us took two papers. Then again, I compared to this last one I had, that it was really strong. I still felt like in the reality, but I was experiencing the whole reality totally different. One moment of that first trip I hold really near my heart, for example. It's like we were all like already getting into the first peak, and I will just walk away. As I told you before, I'm a musician, and everything around me, it always relates or goes back to music. So I was just there. I think it wasn't raining at the moment, but the wind was really strong. As you know, Austria has really strong winds.
Exactly, especially here in Vienna, it's like kind of like a tube for wind
here in
almost.
Vienna is something totally different. It's like Vienna is not cold. The wind of Vienna is cold. That's what makes it a cold city. At least in winter. No, but the wind was blowing, and you can hear the wind blowing through the tall grass and into the trees. And there were also these insects. I think they're called cicadas or something like that. That they make these sound
Crickets, maybe?
No. It wasn't crickets. It were cicadas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit bigger than a cricket, and the sound is really specific. Maybe I can show it to you here really quick. But it was. I started hearing a symphony in the nature, and I felt like I felt going from left to right.
Yeah.
The sound, and then the sound was going from right to left.
Yes.
And then from the middle into the other side, and it was like the first time I experienced music as a music with conscious, for example, when I was a child and I was hearing all these sounds and all these melodies and all these harmonies, and I was just so amazed.
Yeah.
But I was like, I heard music in the nature, and I was completely blown away, and it was really special. And when I came back, I was a totally different person almost. Just by listening into just standing up, feeling the wind, and listening to all the sounds around me, and I just found a beautiful symphony that I think I'm never gonna be able to replicate or describe. But it was just amazing.
I can totally relate to that experience, because every time I do psychedelics in nature, I have the same experience you're talking about, that like basically everything is in sync, and often like for me, like I just remember crickets, for example. They play together, they actually make a melody, and they're totally linked in with each other. It's really an amazing experience.
I think it was this animal. I may be wrong, but I don't think so.
Okay.
We were.
I would have to hear the sound to really relate to this.
Maybe
one.
I'm wrong, but I'm sure it was an insect maybe the sound, and it was totally amazing. But yeah, coming back to the main topic, my first actual like LSD trip. Because of this first trip, I already had like a little bit of an idea of what to expect. But I was completely wrong, because it was something totally different. I knew it was gonna be different. I knew it was gonna be way stronger. Than
it's interesting with psychedelics, because like a small dose can be like a total different experience than a high dose, like almost like a different drug.
Yeah, no, that's completely true. It's as much. I think with every drug it's like that. If we put alcohol, for example, or caffeine, or weed, or whatever, you can, depending on the dosage, you will have a really different experience.
Yeah, dosage, setting.
Yeah. So starting from the beginning with the actual trip, Helmut, a really good friend of ours, he actually lives here as well.
Exactly, right behind this wall.
Yeah, right behind this wall. He had his birthday not long ago, like in the 16th of August, if I'm not mistaken. And Francisco and me, we met each other through Helmut. So he's a really good friend of Helmut, I'm really good friends of Helmut, and I can say that we're also good friends with each other. And we were actually here just visiting you. And we talk about making a psychedelic trip, and we said, yeah, sure, why not? And we take advantage, make it a little bit of a celebration, and we take Helmut with us. And yeah, basically, long story short, we almost have to oblige Helmut or force Helmut to come with us. He also came late to the meeting point, so we had to meet him immediately. But we knew that it was gonna be the whole day, and we even took like a sleeping tent with us, because we knew that we were gonna stay there in the middle of fucking nowhere in a mountain. The problem with that weekend as well, because it was August, and it looks like there was gonna be a rainstorm coming from in all the surroundings from Vienna, like all Upper Austria and Lower Austria. It was raining the whole time. So at the beginning we were a little skeptical if it started to rain really bad, we go back home. That was like the idea we had at the beginning. So we arrived to the mountain, we were wandering, we started walking around, and it was completely improvised. Like we found the route while we were already in the train, kinda. And then we just start walking, we meet Helmut, we go to this little town. Funny enough, when we were arriving to the town and we were speaking Spanish, we got down and we get greeted in Spanish by this other woman, and yeah, you speak Spanish? And yeah, we speak Spanish. Where are you from? She was from Chile.
Another South American person, since like you, Helmut, and Francisco, all from South America.
Yeah. No, but it was we were so impressed, because we never thought that there was gonna be a woman from Chile living in this like Austrian villa, because it was so small. The biggest thing they had in there, I think, it was the cemetery. And like 2 stores and a lot of houses. I myself, I cannot picture myself living in a place like that. It's way too boring for me. and I will be walking around the town every day, and I don't know. I don't like small places like that. Me coming from big cities, so anyways,
Yeah.
I'm already used to like a city.
A lot
have
of
to be big
options,
enough.
a
Yeah,
lot of stuff
exactly.
happening around.
A lot of people to meet.
Exactly.
So yeah, and we meet her. We're from Latin America. We came here just to walk a little bit. We want to go to a castle or no, a hute, like a wooden house in the top of a mountain. And he was like, yeah, sure, you can go this way or this way. She helped us a little bit, but then we got split. We went to the villa to buy provisions and food for the night and for the weekend. And then we went on wandering. And at the beginning, that hit me really hard because from the three of us, I am maybe the one who goes on mountain trips the less. I'm not too fond about going into mountains, but I guess it depends of the purpose. Just going there and walking around, I don't know, I don't like it. But if we get high or we take our stuff, I maybe enjoy it a little bit more because it's a different purpose. It's not the purpose of walking and coming to the top and then coming back. It's the purpose of having a trip with your friends and eating food and smoking and whatever. And it was really cool. At the beginning, although this summer was really hot, when we were in the mountain, it wasn't as hot as we thought. So good thing.
But it was also like almost to the end of the summer, so
yeah, definitely.
already cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, but that week was really hot, anyways. But then also we also came prepared for the rain. And yeah, we just started walking into the mountain, and the beginning was really hard for me because I was always staying behind, and Francisco, he walks so fucking fast the whole time. And Helmut has his own shit, he walks at his own pace, but he was quite fast anyways, and I commented, hey Francisco, please slow down, because he was going so fast, and he was just leaving behind him. And I am probably the strongest smoker from the three of them. Francisco doesn't actually smoke, but he's from cigarettes.
Yeah, I imagine it hits on your stamina.
Yeah, as well. Although I practice a sport regularly, the ultimate frisbee, that helped me with the stamina as well. I realized that when I'm playing frisbee, my mind is in a different total focus, and I don't feel like the lack of air until I'm done with the point or until I'm done with the game.
Yeah.
But while I'm playing, I'm in such a hyper focus that my body adapts to that, and I can keep up with guys that go to the gym like 4 times a week or something like that, and jump as high as fuck and throw strong as fuck. And physically speaking, I'm really weak. I'm a really skinny guy, but when I play frisbee, I'm on the top, and I always like to do crazy shit. And yeah,
mind over body in that case.
Yeah, definitely. We get to the top, and that's where we smoke the first joint.
Did you already ingest the LSD at
no,
this
not
point?
yet. Not yet.
What time was it around?
I think it was around
like the point we're talking about now, like the first joint.
Around midday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Around 12, maybe a little bit before 12. We have the first joint, and it's really funny. So a little sad story. I wanted to buy a cheesecake because the first time I did a LSD trip with the Francisco and with the microdosing, we were in the store, and right next to the cashier there was a cheesecake, and I just bought it for myself, and these two assholes were roasting me the whole time of why the fuck I bought a cheesecake to a fucking trip. And I was like, because I wanted to eat cheesecake in the trip.
Why not?
Yeah, I didn't see the big deal.
One doesn't
about it.
exclude the other, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the guys were just talking, why did you brought a cheesecake? Why do you brought a cheesecake? That doesn't make any sense. And I went, fuck you, let me eat my fucking cheesecake. And it became a topic during the trip. Yeah, but anyways, coming back to the main story, in the villa they didn't have any cheesecake, but some bullshit stuff, and I ate that. Also, because I'm a smoker, and I'm also really conscious about not leaving ashtrays or not ashes or like the tails of the cigarettes in the middle of a mountain.
Yeah.
I had a little bag for myself, and then I have a special bag for a trash can for the cigarette tails and such, and all my cigarettes, my cell phone, because I was also listening to music the whole time, the weed, etc. And it was really uncomfortable at the beginning because I also had the food with me, and the balancing of the food, it was a whole extra bag, and it was really hard to walk with that. After our first journey it became easier. But this little bag was always going
bouncing
through and through. Yeah.
all over yourself.
I
all
also
the
had
time.
my glasses in there and the plastic bag rip because of that.
Oh shit.
And then after the first joint, I felt like my glasses came down, and I picked them off. But then we just kept on walking until we somehow found. Well, first we found like a abandoned house, but it wasn't really a house. It was like a weird room, total abandoned with like spider webs, and it was impossible to get into the door because all the wood was already rotten and fell down. And we just tried to look what was in there, and we didn't saw anything much value. And then we just kept on walking, and then we found an actual house and an actual abandoned house. We tried to break into the house so we can spend the night inside a ceiling, and so there was also like a second floor with a little bit of a balcony. Would have been amazing as well to be in there, and sadly we couldn't break in.
Yeah.
Of course, before any allegations, we saw that the house was complete without any furniture whatsoever. It was totally abandoned. I think Helmut said that not even the walls were finished or something like that.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah, it was like something like super convenient for us, to put it that. We didn't manage to break in, but
Basically the perfect spot for the trip, because you
Yeah.
guys showed me pictures, or I watched the pictures that Helmut took.
yeah,
And it was even like with the perfect view from the mountain and everything, and you found that
the platform.
the barbecue and everything.
Yeah,
the
we also
platform.
found we also found a barbecue, but I think Helmut didn't took pictures from this platform. This is the house, and if you kept walking that direction for 5 minutes, there was a wooden platform, an amazing wooden platform where you can just chill. But okay, so when we arrived to this abandoned house, we were thinking, what should we do now? Which place should we go now? Like, what's the next step? We were convinced that this place was an amazing place to spend the night. It was clear. If anybody came, we can quickly hide if we needed to. There were no trees. We can always keep an eye on each other. Okay, we said we're gonna leave our stuff here. We're gonna keep walking in the other direction, and then we're gonna try to find something to eat in another hut. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna set camp there. So when we are there, I start looking for the weed to make the second joint. And that's when I realized, fuck, I have lost the weed. The little pot where I used to carry the weed around, it wasn't in my stuff, and I was already panicking, like holy shit, where's the weed? Where's the weed? And I was like, I lost the weed. But because we already made the first joint, I knew that it was between point A and point B, and I also remember that the glass fell down, and my glasses fell down off the little bag, so it must probably be around there. But then again, we were already high, so we didn't knew exactly the spot where the weed fell down. But I somehow managed to convince them to go back and look for the weed. When we left our stuff there, we only took the important shit with us. That's when Francisco, me, and Helmut decided to take the LSD. Me and Francisco, we went all the way.
Full tap.
And Helmut,
with a strong dose, by the way.
Yeah. And Helmut only went with a quarter. He didn't want to have like a full-on acid trip. He just wanted to make a microdosing. At the beginning, Francisco and me took it a little bit personal because the idea was for all three of us to be high as balls, like tripping balls.
Yeah,
is the term.
Well, I actually remember Helmut, and I'm sorry if I'm releasing too much information, Helmut. I think, like he said, because like he didn't even really feel like doing it in the first place too much. Yeah.
No, he also told us that, but I mean, a little bit of peer pressure never hurt anybody, I think.
Well, I disagree.
Yeah.
But keep on going.
Yeah, no, coming back to the topic, me and Francisco took the whole tap, and that was already around 2 or 3 p.m. And we said, okay, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna look for the weed. And while we were going back, three of us were always looking down to see. But the problem is that the problem was that it was like a gray with a gray pot, a little small gray pot.
So kind of hard to see when you're looking. It doesn't really stick out.
Exactly. but I had this feeling in me that we were gonna find it. So we start walking and we start walking and we start walking, and then until we reach the point where I made the first joint, and that was like at the top of the mountain.
How long was the walk from the house where you left your bags until that point where you lost your glasses, or where you found the weed later?
Spoilers.
Sorry, I was not sure if that would come again, but okay, keep going with the story.
Yeah, spoilers, man. Yeah, I think it was like 2 hours ish. 1 hour, 2 hours. No, around 1 hour. It wasn't that far away.
That's quite a long walk for finding the weed.
Yeah, I know. And so we go there. When we arrived to the top of the mountain, that's when we already started to feel the weed, the LSD kicking in. So we sat down at the peak. Maybe you saw the photos when I'm like butt naked.
I saw the photos.
Yeah, it was around that time.
Some good photos in front of like the nice view. Yeah,
and my butt cheeks.
Some good. You nice ass.
Thank you. And Francisco right next to me, but from his perspective, he was like looking at my. It was funny. I was trying to make a little bit of a parody, because you will always see these pictures from these girls that you can see that they're topless, but you can only see her back, and like freeing the nipple and all that shit. And I was like, okay, I want to free my dick, and I just pulled down my pants and I feel hashtag free the dick.
Free the dick. We need to censor this. No, we don't. Keep on going.
Yeah, and then okay. Afterwards, we just said, okay, chill. We didn't find the weed, so let's go back. We start walking back, and I remember that before we part from that point, there was a map, and we went back to the map. Me and Francisco was looking at the map, and I was coming to him. I have to emphasize again, at this point we were already feeling the LSD. So every time you look at the horizon, like when we were sitting down at the top of the mountain, you look at the horizon, it was a beautiful valley, and you can see all the trees dancing and all the clouds moving, and you can just see everything already having a different perspective, or a more psychedelic perspective for everything, and you could already tell that we were not sober at that point. Like we were already starting to feel the kicking of the LSD. And then when we were looking at this map, I come to Francisco and I said, yeah, I remember we went through here. And then I look down, and Francisco looks down, and we found the weed. And there it is.
You both looked down at the same time, and you both basically found the weed at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were just standing looking at the map. We looked down, and I was like, there it is.
Wow.
And then we burst off laughing super loud for like the next 10 to 20 minutes.
That's an amazing synchronicity.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like we were gonna talk about that topic about synchronicity, because we had a lot of crazy moments throughout the night. And yeah, we just looked down and holy fuck, that's a weed. And then we start laughing, and then I built the next joint, and we start smoking. Yeah, haha, so crazy. We find the weed. Like I also remember when we were at the top of the mountain, the second time, we were saying, I don't think we're gonna find the weed. Yeah, whatever, we're not gonna find the weed. So we already kind of gave up, but I still had this feeling that we were gonna find it, and we ended up finding it, and we found that shit hilarious. And already coming back to the base camp, basically to the abandoned house, and me and Francisco realized, holy shit, and who the fuck is gonna make the tents? Because we were already tripping balls, or well, kinda, but we were getting into that. So at the time when we were back into the house, we knew that we were gonna be like tripping balls already. And Helmut was like, okay, don't worry, let me take care of that. I want to take care of that. I'm gonna build the tents. I'm gonna take care of that shit. At that moment, I was really relieved that Helmut didn't took the whole tablet, because we need at least somebody who wasn't as high as fuck or as tripping as fuck as the other two guys.
Especially when you like don't have so much experience with psychedelics yet, and you take a high dose. It's good idea to have someone who can like watch the situation.
Yeah, and then we come back, and Helmut. I think that's when Helmut actually started to try to break into the abandoned house, but he wasn't able to. He even somehow got into the balcony, the second floor. It was really hard.
Yeah,
And
he
I
told me
don't-
that he found a way through behind the
Yeah,
house,
yeah,
and there
yeah,
was
yeah.
like a stone wall. There was like the point where it like was a risky jump to the balcony, but he was already there, so he took the risk and jumped on the balcony.
No,
Yeah.
completely crazy.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that guy, but I love the motherfucker anyways.
I would love to see that like in live.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
no, no.
not
And I
time.
was like saying, yo, I want to do that as well. I think I'm gonna do that later. And Helmut was like, no, Leo, hear me. Leo, pay attention, hear me. You are not gonna do that. No, you are not gonna do that, because if you want to be a drug addict, at least you have to be responsible. So you're not gonna do that. And then I just started like hearing music, chilling, enjoying the actual kicking of the trip. And I remember that I started to burp a lot as well. And this comment I really liked. It was like I said to the other guys, yo, do you remember all the hallucinations when we were at the top of a mountain, that they were all far away and really beautiful and shit? They were like, yeah. What? Why? What? Well, all those fucking hallucinations that were far away, they're now around here. That was my way of saying like I was already tripping balls, and it was also different. I remember I started to burp, but Francisco had a tough time at the beginning. He was also burping, and he was like, oh fuck, I need help. This is way too much for me. And me and Helmut tried to calm him down and saying, hey, don't worry, if you start fighting that, you're gonna have a bad trip. So don't worry, because this is gonna be a really long trip. It's not like you can choose not to be high anymore. So let yourself go. And he was like, no, I can't, burping the whole time. I can. And that's when Helmut took us to the platform that he found somehow. We start walking a little bit, and Francisco was still paranoid and shit. I already also like when Francisco was already burping and shit. He was like, "You want to hear some music?" And yeah. And my eyes fucking start brightening as star. And Helmut comes,
Music.
yeah. And Helmut
You got the right person.
Nah, yeah, I know. But Helmut looks at me. Be careful. If somebody who doesn't want to hear a song, you're gonna skip it. Because there is this whole theme that I'm a musical dictator, but we are not gonna get into that. But yeah, we started listening to some music, to some chill songs, to all that. But that wasn't helping Francisco, and that's when we went to the platform. So and then when we went to the platform, we just lay down. We were really scared at the beginning. There is this really famous video. Maybe you can look it up really quick. Or I can actually. It's called Esto se va a descontrolar, of 4 or 5 Argentinian little kids jumping in a platform, and then they fall through, and it just became viral in Latin America.
Holy fucking shit. I didn't see how far they were dropping, but that looked dangerous.
No, it was yeah, that shit was high. It was a platform exactly just like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, esto se va a controlar. No, this is not gonna get out of control. Calm down, just lay down, because we didn't know how stable that was, and it was also like, it wasn't as tall as the one in the video, but it was maybe around 1 meter, and we were not. It was also like a really
Like going down the cliff?
kind of.
Yeah.
But the platform was there. And
Yeah.
we don't know. We were high, and we were tripping, and we wanted to be careful.
Yeah,
So
better
we
safe than
just
sorry.
lay down. We saw the whole like the afternoon, the sun coming down. We were listening to some really nice tunes, like the ones we were listening before, like this kind of music, or really calm music and stuff. And that's when I think that we all had our first peak, at least Francisco and me. I remember I felt like, through my whole trip I was always feeling that I was shifting through realities. And it was funny because me and Francisco were starting to get a little paranoid, because we didn't have the tents built. We were already high, and Helmut was like, I'm gonna take care of that, calm down, I'm gonna take care of that, because at that point we were still thinking that it was gonna rain. So we just wanted to be like prepared in the worst case scenario.
Of course.
Helmut was always saying, yeah, calm down. And I remember that when I said it, Then Helmut told us, calm down. Then I came down. Then Francisco said it. And the same topic. The same
You
problem.
came up again.
Yeah, and then we talk about it. Then Helmut calmed us down, and we came down. And then I said it. Like, there was a moment when I was sure that I was having conversations that never actually happened. So I'm not sure if all the conversations that I believe it happened actually happened or didn't. And I was like, then again, shifting to realities, like in our reality when I said this, like the chaos theory, for example. Are you familiar with that? That when a butterfly swings its wings somewhere.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. Like the smallest thing can like ripple into like the biggest outcomes.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like I was shifting to different realities when I said something or when I didn't say something or when I play a song or when I didn't play a song. I'm not sure if all that happened. I'm not sure if I imagine all of that. That's just the way it happened.
Well, like I find it interesting because you can drop into the world of your mind so deeply.
Yeah.
And for me, like it's just as real as this reality, but it's just like we usually don't access it that deeply.
Exactly.
And when you're on a psychedelic, you can like be in there so deeply that it's like, okay, that is just another reality, just like this. Yeah.
And then like as I said before, we sailed there until the sunset. It was already getting a little dark. We said, okay, let's come back. I was already feeling a little hungry. We brought a lot of water with ourselves as well. Like we were really well prepared for everything. And then we go back. And funny enough, with this trip between the abandoned house and the platform, something I always found really curious is that when you go from the abandoned house to the platform, it always felt like 5 to 10 minutes. But when you go back, it felt like 2 minutes. I don't know why. And we went there like in a total of 3 times. And it was always like that. When we came back, it was just like around the corner. But when you go there, it was really, really long. That's
I only know that
time and space perception.
Yeah,
shifted and was
I know that experience when I go to a new place the first time. The way there often feels very long, probably because of all the new impressions. And going back, it feels shorter because okay, I already know this and that.
Yeah, and also you change your perception. The first time you go out to a place, you see it completely different than to the second, third, fourth time. So yeah, that's really interesting as well. And yeah, we went back to the house, and Helmut, I think that's when he started making the fire and all that shit. And me and Francisco, we wanted to help Helmut, so that way not all the responsibility laid on him, and like not only taking care of 2 guys tripping balls, but also like setting camp, setting the fire, organizing the food, etc. So we started putting all of our stuff in what became our main place. That it was just under this little roof that it was in the house, because the house had like this balcony surrounding the whole second floor, and that's what we use to have something under us. And Helmut started setting everything up and shit, and that's when I started listening to some music, and the time went flying at this point because I was already on my trip. Francisco was in his trip. It was already nighttime. I remember a time when I felt like I just wanted to be alone. I started listening to music, and I started controlling the music, but Francisco put on his own headphones.
How was Francisco at this time? Was he
no,
doing better?
Helmut saved his fucking life. I have to say that because he was getting all paranoid, but I had to give credit and props to Helmut because he really knew how to handle the situation, how to calm him down, and he was all like, okay, no, calm down, don't worry, just lay down. And at the end, Francisco was just having his trip, and we were something that I found really curious as well is that we were always respecting each other's trip. So when one of us was a little far away or something, he was like, no, let him his own trip, or no, I wanna be on my trip, or no, I wanna do something.
Yeah.
There were times when we were talking with each other. There were times when we all 3 of us were completely separate from each other, and we were all totally fine with that.
Yeah. Actually, I want to jump in with a small side note for like mixing substances, and especially like again doing them for the first time or doing them the first time at high dose, and especially when you mix psychedelics with something like weed, like we know weed is notorious for making people anxious or I don't know, paranoid and stuff. So that can really amplify to totally new levels when you're on psychedelics. So I recommend anybody who tries psychedelics for the first time and stuff to like get the pure experience and start experimenting later, like, and start it carefully.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know, I felt like at least weed calms me down. Doesn't make me as paranoid as it used to, or doesn't make me as anxious as it used to. I'm a really anxious person when I'm sober itself, but when I smoke weed from time to time, it just like calms me down. Actually, it has a really nice effect on me.
Nice.
At the beginning, it was totally different, but the more I smoked, the more I started accepting it. I started enjoying it more, and like thinking about stuff, being high on weed makes me see a different perspective and understand a lot of things better as well. So I also enjoy that a lot.
Nice.
So it's an interesting aspect of weed.
Yeah, I can definitely go both ways.
Exactly, definitely. Yeah, and coming back to topic, I think Helmut has already started trying to make the fire. We wanted to organize everything, so we have trash in one place, like food in one place, like as easy as possible for people in our state of mind to feel comfortable and to know what everything was. And this is one of the highlights of the whole evening. Like we were talking with Helmut about the cam and whatever, and he was like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of that." You know how Helmut leaving everything at last hour. He does a good job, but from time to time it just like makes you a little bit unsure how his time management is. Like sometimes his priorities doesn't match with mine. But yeah, whatever. And Francisco was okay. Let us help you. What do we have to do? He said to Francisco, all Francisco's stuff was in a bag, and he needed the bag for some fucking reason. I'm not exactly sure, but he wanted for Francisco's stuff to go back into his backpack. And Francisco went like, okay, can you remind me again what I need to do? Your stuff, put it in your backpack. Yeah, my stuff is here. Yeah, now put it in your backpack. Which backpack? No, the stuff that is right here, put it in the backpack. No, but I don't understand you. And then Helmut's gone. The stuff that is in this backpack, I need you to put, that is your stuff. I need you to put it in your backpack. And then Francisco takes it and he says, but I don't want to. And after like 10 minutes of fucking Helmut trying to convince Francisco to put all that shit in the backpack, and Francisco offering his help to do it. And after all that time, it was just like, but I don't want to do it.
Okay, let me help you. Okay, do this. But I don't want to do it. But let me help you. That's a funny circle.
Yeah, and I saw the whole thing. I mean, I'm a little bit out of the story, but I was just looking at it. And at the moment Francisco said that, Helmut just crawled down and did like this. Fucking, he just gave up.
Okay.
He gave up on everything, and he just couldn't believe what was happening. And Helmut was, okay, enjoy your trip. Go ahead, enjoy your trip. Yeah, and then again it was really funny because from one point of saying, yeah, let me help you, to the next point, I don't want to help you, or I don't feel like helping you. That shit was completely hilarious for us. Yeah, and then Helmut started making the fire, and he was cooking some sausages, and I was making some bread. And the problem there as well is that for some fucking reason, the geniuses, like our big brains, never thought about buying shit that it was already cut. So we bought a lot of bread, but a whole bread. It wasn't cut, and we didn't have any tools to cut it, or the tools we had at hand were. Same with the cheese, and same with a lot of things that could be easier for us if they were cut. They were not cut. So it was like all tripping balls, ugly as fuck, trying to make sandwiches for us to eat, and it was really weird. Yeah.
Some freestyle sandwiches.
Yeah. Talking about food, I bought some snacks in Bila today to bring here, and I completely forgot about that.
To like eat during the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, might be better because like with a full mouth might not be that easy to eat.
Of course not. It was just a snack too.
Okay.
Yeah.
We enjoy afterwards.
No, I forgot it. Oh, yeah.
I thought you bought it on the way here.
No, I forgot it home.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah, during the whole night we ended up really enjoying the trip. There was a moment when I just wanted to disappear, and I just went there and I crawled down in a really dark place, and I put my hoodie on, and I was just like, this in a really dark place. Like I think,
I actually remember Helmut telling me that he found you like this on the floor.
yeah,
you just,
or was
you just look at him with those like huge eyes.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
almost.
I wanted to make those eyes as well on purpose, like to shock them or whatever, to fuck with them a little bit. And it was like this, and I was just listening to music, and he was like, "Are you okay?" It was really fun, because first Francisco came to me, looked at me, he saw that I was okay, then he went away, and at the moment that he went away, Helmut showed up, like sitcom wise, like movie wise, it was a perfect scene. That he came and then he left, and then at the exact moment that he left, Helmut came. And I was just so amazed, and I was laughing, and but I didn't understand why I was laughing or why was I enjoying that moment so much. Yeah, completely, really, really funny stuff for me. And during the whole day, or during the whole trip, there were these moments of like perfect synchronicity between each other, or perfect stuff, and I just start saying good timing every single time that happened, and that catch up with the other two guys. And we
Talking about synchronicity, because I just had that thought of asking you about, well, did the synchronicities already happen? You mentioned before, and now you start talking about the synchronicities.
Yeah, good timing.
Good timing. Exactly.
And as I told you, like, Francisco left and then Helmut came back, and then we were talking about, and we ended up talking about the same topic, or like, for example, I don't know, there were I don't really remember what exactly happened, but it happened a lot of times, like these little moments of pure perfection time wise, that something happened and it just all clicked together perfectly. And it was really enjoyable, at least for me, because it was just I was saying the whole time, the only time that exists is the perfect one. So there are a lot of possibilities happening the whole time, but it's always the best ones that is gonna occur to us. I mean, there are like super good ones or bad ones or super bad ones. But if you know how to live your life, they always and if you know what you have to do, always the good ones are the ones that are gonna come through. I don't know, that's something that I took home with me after the trip, that I learned, like, you need to calm down and like believe in the good timing.
That's a beautiful insight, and it's like, well, insights like this make me really trust the universe.
Yeah, definitely.
And when I like remember this, is like, okay, all doubts and all fears can just go away, and it relaxes me deeply.
Yeah, then again, I'm not saying that you should just wait for things to happen. You still have to look for them, but you just have to trust, like, okay, this is gonna happen. This last year I felt like I have changed and I have matured, and I'm a completely different person like 1 year ago or 6 months ago. There were a lot of turning points in my life when I learned a lot of stuff, and how to live with myself and how to like enjoy myself better. This trip also made me realize a lot about the good timing and what it means to actually be having a good time all together. And just like trust and also enjoy these little moments of synchronicity that you can find in your life. It's like really meaningful, because it doesn't get any better than that. As long as you're doing the shit that you have to do, as long as you trust yourself, as long as you feel comfortable with what you're doing, it's just have a good time.
Exactly.
And also the other thing I learned from the LSD trip, that was what I was realizing when I was all fucking cold and this and all away from all the other two guys, is that for me life is you are an actor who's acting in a scene, but you don't know for whom's movie is that scene. Like, there are some scenes that maybe, the movie doesn't show every single part of somebody's life. It's mostly of the important parts, the ones that are important to tell the story. So sometimes you can be the bad guy in a movie, sometimes you can be an extra in a movie, sometimes you can be just a one-liner in a movie. But it's just like, you are always an actor who's trying to act as best as possible, but you don't know for whom's movie is that. And you just have to like try to make your best as an actor. You just have to try to act as best as possible, and always try to like do whatever you can do. I'm not saying the best. I'm not saying the best things. I'm not saying the worst things. It's just like what you can do, and just like try to pull forward. Well, not try to pull forward, but just try to do your best when it comes to the whole music, the whole life in general, because you don't know how important this is gonna be for you in the future. Maybe even with the podcast, maybe this shit blows up, and now we can have an actual podcast all together.
Who knows?
Exactly.
Maybe.
That's when, maybe it's just for us. Maybe that helps you. Maybe this helps me, like jumping up.
Maybe it's just for us having fun right now.
Exactly. And that's also perfect. That's also good.
100%.
It's just like trying to like have every single scene you're living, and like try to make it as basically don't be an asshole. That's the two main things I took from the whole LSD trip. Yeah. Then I started feeling the LSD a little bit lower. Then I was speaking again. Then it was lower. Then I was speaking again. There was a moment when I also went away for the guys, but not to the other direction, and I felt like I was transported into like you know what that isekai is.
No.
So in anime there is this genre, this kind of anime, where the main protagonist is a guy who gets transported to another world and he starts living his new adventures, and it's usually like a medieval world, like elves, magic, bullshit. Yeah, I felt like that. I was suddenly transported to another world, and I was fighting a demon lord, and I was just like had superpowers, and I felt like I was on a beach, and then like Normandy style, like fighting the guys coming from the water, and some guys on the beach fighting each other. Then some fucking magic happened. Then I started watching my own movie, and I was also the protagonist from time to time. And okay, I want to watch. Now I want to do something. I want to watch. I want to do something. And just I started shifting into different realities. That's what I was coming back to. And I was just looking at.
So it was like
happening.
real visionary for you. Like you close your eyes and you actually you are in the scene.
I didn't even have my eyes closed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because it was already so dark that I just took the shapes that my eyes could see of the trees and shit, and
Wow.
I would just make new shapes from that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, because with my eyes closed, I don't know. Sometimes I feel when you have that much liberty, then you don't know what to do and you get overwhelmed. But when I already had this little piece of shadows and such moving, and then I just let my imagination fly, and I think I enjoyed it even more, because it's not that I'm thinking. It's just that I'm seeing stuff, and that's what made me have the other part of the trip. Then Francisco also came and checked on me. I was also constantly checking out the guys, and there was also a time when just me and Francisco went to the platform just to chill down, to lay down, to talk, and because you know that these moments are also like when you are both so vulnerable to everything happening to your surroundings. It's like when you like can talk to more CPs and like have new perspective, and also the other guy can give you some more insight. And the same happened with Helmut, when we just start talking, we just chill, and it was a really, really nice experience, I have to say. And I know that there's a lot of shit talking about drugs and how drugs are, and drugs are bad or whatever, but funny enough, there is this Netflix series that is like a podcast, but an animated podcast. Midnight Gospel.
Is it the one where he's like?
It's a purple guy with a hat.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah,
I saw a couple of.
Yeah, the first episode talks about recreational drugs. And the conclusion they arrived to that I find also really good is like you have to be conscious of what you're doing. You don't have to depend on drugs, and as long as you use them for fun and it's safe, then it's okay. Just like
everything like in moderation, and keep an eye on your dosage. Keep an
exactly.
eye on who you're doing it with. Like, actually, do you feel safe with the situation and everything? Don't let yourself, like we had group pressure and stuff. Don't let
Peer
yourself
pressure,
be put into situations like that. Like, really check in with yourself. Like, is this okay? Can I handle this? Or like trying to impress somebody. Am I trying like to fulfill some kind of weird standard that is like total bullshit?
I was actually like really looking forward to that, and I feel like I was really satisfied at the end of the experience, because I felt like it really changed me, and I learned what I needed to learn that trip as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. Also, other things, other like little stuff that happens. Helmut was the guy in charge of the fire because he wanted to be in charge of the fire. And there was a moment when we all came to the fire because we wanted to feel the warmth of the fire. And every time you look at like the ember and the fire, that looks so fucking amazing. The fire looks so fucking amazing. Every time you look more into the fire look back at you, and you can see a whole, at least from my experience, I saw like a whole world filled with fire, and that shit was fucking beautiful. And then I moved away, and then I went back into the fire, and I saw something completely different. Because the fire is always dancing, it's always transforming. It's itself fire. I think is a symbol of transformation, from one stuff to another one. And because the fire was something that it was in constant movement, just like traps you away, and then you're surrounded by fire, and you feel the fire inside and outside, and you feel the warmth. It was amazing. That was Helmut's plan. He just wanted to sit right next to the fire the whole time, and I think that's also a really good plan. But then again, I also wanted to like have more tripping balls moment with him and with Francisco. Like Francisco and me trying to fix a light or trying to make a joint. It was really fun because I was like, okay, hold the light. Okay, no, okay, it's ready. Yeah, good timing. And then because he said good timing, at the second he didn't say. At the second he finished saying good timing. There were some problems with the light. That's why I needed some help. And at the second he said good timing, the light turned off. And because he said good timing, it made it even a better moment. So it was also a good timing double. I don't know. Then again, coming back to the synchronization, it was just also perfect the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think the rest of the night was mostly not much interesting, or not much, at least from what I remember. There was a moment when we were really feeling like the coming down, and I just took this shot and I just lay down and I started looking at the stars and hearing some music, and it was also a really intimate moment that I had with myself. And then I came back to the guys and talked with them, and then I just went away, and then it was just like we were just hanging out at the end of the night. And there was a moment when I started feeling totally sober, but then I had the last peak and the last kicking in, and it was really cool as well.
Yeah, it's like normal that they come in waves.
Yeah, but this last wave was the last wave was really chill. That's when I lay down, and that's when I was okay, I'm gonna take advantage, and I was also dancing along from my time, listening to the music that I wanted to listen. And yeah, the whole experience I had with the LSD trip is like. Then again, we always knew what we were doing. It was really chill the whole time. It was really amazing. We had everything was always under control. It's same thing as if you're drinking, drink responsibly. If you're taking drugs, be as responsible as you can of taking drugs. Don't be an asshole. Yeah. And then I remember I took my own tent, but it turns out the tent needed a tube, because usually the tent has like 2 tubes, and then you build the tent in there. Turns out, and Helmut didn't build my tent, so we only had like Francisco's tent in there. I lay down there a couple of times. I think I was the only one who slept a little bit, because the day before, as you may know, I have really bad insomnia problems.
No, I didn't even know.
I have really bad insomnia problems, and the day before I didn't sleep. Like that was on a Saturday when we did the whole thing. So it was like from Thursday to Friday I didn't sleep.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Oh.
And Friday to Saturday I sleep just a little bit, because just a little bit, because I needed to wake up early. So I was really, really, really tired. Maybe you can see in the pictures, like my eyes are really fucked up. Yeah, but anyways, and then they also stay a little bit of time talking, and yeah, that's also okay. And I used Francisco's tent. Then we woke up. Then we chill a little bit, and then we all went back home.
Nice. Sounds like a really good trip experience.
It was amazing.
Nice.
Really, really, really. But I also I don't feel like I wanna be doing these things too often, because at least I feel like it's like a cigarette. Having a cigarette from time to time, it actually helps a lot. But if you start smoking every single day, then a cigarette becomes something different than what it actually does to you.
It's the same with almost everything.
Exactly. But with LSD in specific, I want to do like a maximum of twice a year. Because then it lost its power of like, because if I start tripping balls every single day, then that will be the new.
Of course, also like your body builds a tolerance very quickly compared to other substances. If you want to trip like every week, you would have to double your dose.
Exactly.
Pretty much every time.
There will be a time when I will have to like eat the whole fucking paper.
Yeah, and also like you hear stories of people going into the space like more and more often, and actually it loses its magic over
Exactly.
time, and its power to like really bring insights to you and help you transform
you also
yourself.
have to have a lot of respect with these kind of substances.
Yes.
And all those substances actually.
Yeah.
They're fun and everything. Don't get me wrong, but you also have to be really responsible when it comes to all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Any point?
Anything else you wanna add to the whole story, or?
No, I think at least from my part, I think that's maybe the other two guys had a different experience of what they saw, but I think like the funny stuff and the important stuff that I remember I came across, and the 2 points that I learned from that I took home for the LSD trip is
Yeah.
always trust on the good timing and enjoy it when it happens, and don't be an asshole. You are not you never know for which movie are you acting in this movie. So
Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah, thank you.
Well, then I would say actually we're approaching the 1 hour mark, or
Yeah.
already have crossed it. So I'd
I
say
think we are about to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I would say let's close this podcast at
Yeah,
this
sure.
point. Leo, it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for the
And
invitation.
I don't know, what do you say for an outro? Let's see if another episode of this podcast will come out.
I'm sure it's gonna come out.
If it's, I feel like it's a chill thing to do. So
Yeah.
if I find people who want to jump on the podcast with me,
I'm sure Helmut or Francisco also want to share the story.
Okay.
Or Alexa will be also down. Or
exactly. Like
we know a lot of people who will. Be
we
down
know
to-
some people, and I'm
yeah.
sure one or the other will want to come on and
or
talk in front of the
it
camera.
doesn't have to be with other people. Maybe next time we can talk about your trips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then, thanks for coming, and see you in the next episode.
Bye.